Welcome once again to Masterpieces Shit Theater with your host, Filthy Fred. And things are gonna get a little spooky around here today. Or should I say, spoopy. As you may or may not know, it's common practice on the internet for stupid 12-year-olds to create evil twins of their favorite superheroes, even though those superheroes already got perfectly serviceable evil twins, so there's no point to any of it. Take, for instance, the case of good old Sonic the Hedgehog, who's got more evil twins than I got infectious boils on my keister. And there's all them robot Sonics old man Robotnik makes, and that no-goodnik Shadow running around. Plus, I think there's some green version of them in the comic books. I don't know, I don't read the things. But do any of them evil twins have bleeding eyeballs and unfounded god complexes? Hell no! Which is why the world was sorely in need of Sonic.EXE. Lace up your shiny red super sneakers, cause we're about to go stupid Sonic racing. Now let's get started already. Sonic.EXE by JC the Hyena. I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. Oh yeah, I ain't never heard anyone criticize a Sonic game before. Everyone loves that guy. I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. How magnanimous of you. I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. I feel you, kid. I played a hacked game once. Penises and drug references everywhere. It was a nightmare. It started on a nice summer afternoon, as opposed to a dark and stormy night. What, you think this is just some cliche-ridden drivel? No, sir! I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I like how you get to explore the towns in it. Until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, that the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox as usual and left. I paused my game to go and see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I took it inside. Okay then. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call him that. Why would I have any reason not to? What are you hiding from me, JC the Hyena? Whom I hadn't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognized his handwriting. What the fuck does his handwriting have to do with how long ago you saw him? Where was I? What was weird was how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy and somewhat difficult to read, as if Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. This is what he wrote. Tom, I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late, and I was hoping you'd do it for me. Oh, sure, yeah, make your friends do all your dirty work, lazy ass. I can't do it. He's after me, and if you don't destroy this CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc, and you'll destroy him. But do it quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it. Please. Kyle. Well, that was certainly weird. Even though Kyle is my best friend and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple gaming disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Little did I know it was a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, Hover Upon Horrors. Anyway, I looked at the disc, and it looks like any ordinary computer CDR disc, except it had black marker on it written Sonic.exe. And it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning that he must have gotten it from someone else, like a pawn shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic on the writing of the CD, I was actually excited and wanted to play it since I'm a big Sonic fan. So like an idiot, I went up to my room and turned on my computer to put the disc in and installed the game, doing exactly the opposite of what I was told to do, when the title screen popped up and I noticed that it was the first Sonic game. I was like awesome, because, like I said earlier, I like the classics. And apparently he had no knowledge of how to download ROMs if he was that gobsmacked about getting to play Sonic 1. The first thing I noticed was that out of place... Hold on, let me go back. The first thing I noticed that was out of place was when I pressed start, there was a split second when I saw the title image turn into something much different. Something that I now consider horrifying, before cutting to black. I remember what the image looked like in that split second before the game cut to black. The sky had darkened. The title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1991 was now instead... Sega 666. Oh, fuck me. The water had turned red like blood, except it looked hyper-realistic. The hell does that even mean? Hyper-realistic? Like, more realistic than realistic? How the fuck is that even possible? But the freakiest thing was that in that split-second frame was Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding with two glowing red dots staring right at me. And his smile had stretched wider up to the edge of his face. Good God, it's Sonic the Trollface! I was rather disturbed about that image when I saw it, though I figured that it was, just a glitch and forgot about it. After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so. And then another weird thing happened. The save file select from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, WTF? What's this doing in the first Sonic game? Anyway, then I noticed, what was this? Yeah, okay, sorry, lost my place for a second. Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was the dark, cloudy sky at a bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic CD, and there were only 3 save files. The music was that creepy Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound, only it was extended and seemed to have been in reverse. So how you recognized it is beyond me. And the image for the save file where you see a preview of the level you're on is just red static for all 3 files. But what freaked me out more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and, to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now, I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game, for crying out loud? That's when I realized this wasn't a glitchy game. It was a hacked game. Lord have mercy, saints preserve us. Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy, but as a smart, yeah, right, gamer, I wasn't scared, or at least I tried not to be. I told myself that it was just a hacked game and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked out file 1 and chose Tails. And when I selected and got started, the game froze for about 5 seconds, and I heard a creepy pixelated laugh. It sounded an awful lot like that Kefka guy from Final Fantasy before cutting to black. Yeah, 'cause nothing's scarier than a goofy clown villain with a woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo laugh. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more. Good God, this game lags more than a late 90s internet connection. Yeah, I'm old, what of it? And then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text showed only Hill, Act 1. The screen faded in, the level title vanished, revealing Tails in the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different, though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in reverse, which, if you've ever heard music played in reverse, you know it was more audibly nauseating than peaceful. Anyway, I started playing and had Tails start running like you would in any of the classic Sonic games. What was odd was that as Tails was running along the level, there was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. Thrilling. That was when the peaceful music started to lower down into slow, deep tones very slowly as I kept going. I suddenly saw something and stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals lying dead on the ground, bleeding. That was when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I never saw him have before, so I had him move along, and he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried as the music lowers, and he moves past more dead animals. Elmer Fudd finally had enough of being the butt of everyone's jokes in the forest, apparently. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed him in rather gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanging on a tree with what appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and a duck had his eyes gouged out and his throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. Funny, I had the same gut reaction to this story, but for entirely different reasons. After a few more seconds, there were no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. After a minute passed after the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill and then he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen with his back against Tails with his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to him, if not acting as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move, so this had to have been a cutscene. You know, I gotta hand it to whoever hacked this game. The animation is clearly very impressive. Suddenly, I began to have a growing feel of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger and something bad was gonna happen. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. Tails, no! He's been eating chili dogs all morning, and he's gassy as hell! Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black with those red glowing dots, just like in the title image, though there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black, and the static sound was off. Well, at least it was short. Oh, wait, there's more. Damn. It stayed black for about 7 seconds, and then white text appeared forming a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" Damn it, Jigsaw, not now, I'm busy. At this point, I got creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level with the level title now saying, "Hide and Seek." Terrifying indeed, but not as scary as Duck, Duck, Goose. This time I was in the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire. Ah boy, Knuckles tried putting a potato in the microwave again. Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me as if he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get out of here. Almost, like the characters do in the normal games when you wait around doing nothing. So I pressed down on the arrow key as hard as I could and made him run as fast as he could. A pixelated version of that creepy theme when you meet Shadow at the Ark as Robotnik from Sonic Adventure 2 was playing as I made Tails trek through the desolate forest trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to run from. Oy, this game references others so much, it's like the haunted version of Sonic Generations. Suddenly I heard that creepy laugh again. That awful Kefka laugh. Yeah, Kefka is hilarious. Right after 10 seconds have passed as I helped Tails run through the forest, and then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping everywhere. Sorry, for a second I almost read that as Sonic pooping everywhere in the screen. That's what I get for reading Scootaloo's Love for Pain last time. Flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen, again with those black and red eyes. The music changed to that suspenseful drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails slowly gaining up on him, flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was actually flying. The flying pose his sprite was making looked very similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD, except it was just Sonic and he had the black and red eyes again, only this time he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving the poor little fox as he gained up on him. Suddenly, when Tails tripped, another cutscene, the music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails laid there and started crying for 15 seconds. Pansy ass. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, probably because it took so damn long. And I kinda teared up myself, but then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started to come down those blackened eyes of Sonic's as a grin slowly grew from his face as he looked down at the horrified fox. I could do nothing but watch. Just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was a loud screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. The text returned, only this time it said, "You're too slow. Want to try again?" And then that god-awful laugh came with it. So, in other words, you gotta go fast? Well, anyway, I was so shocked by what had happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? It's because Tails fucked his mom and Sonic wasn't having none of that shit. I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. The save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding, his orange fur had gone black, and he had an expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. The laugh came again, and the screen cut to black again and stayed there for another 10 seconds. Fuck, doesn't this kid ever get sick of waiting for this game to load? This time the level said, "You can't run," making it the most pointless Sonic game ever. I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch, or a hack, or some kind of sick, twisted joke. Considering 90% of hacks are sick, twisted jokes, I know which one my money's on. Or anything, really, but despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. The next level looked much different. It had the ground in the scrap brain zone, but the sky background looked like the main menu. It had the dark reddish cloudy sky, but it was the music that creeped me out the most. It sounded like Gygas's theme right after you beat Pokey in Earthbound, because sounds from other games equals scary. I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid just like Tails did, though not as much. More rather, he looked a little unnerved. He broke the fourth wall just like Tails and looked as if he wasn't sure about what was going on. But I made him move anyway, because no stupid echidna questions my godlike power. He ran down the straight pathway in this dark level, and as he did, the screen started to flicker red static a couple times, and then that maddening laugh again. Again, still not scary. Then after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear, again thinking something horrible is going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this blood-stained road, but I still kept him going. My guess is he was nauseated by the fact he referenced a shit game like Earthbound. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes, and then red static appeared again, when the static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with text saying, "Found you?" I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? What was going on? Hide and seek, weren't you paying attention? Anyway, red static came again, and then I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time that high-pitched squealing from the Silent Hills 1's final boss was playing. Ooh, I hope we got the UFO ending. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't, honestly, because we all know Sonic would kick Knuckles' ass, am I right? Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles in what appeared to be pixelated black smoke. It's a 16-bit game. How can it be anything other than pixelated? Unless maybe it becomes hyper-realistic again. God, what a stupid phrase. I made Knuckles turn and then punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke before I could even land a hit. That terrible laugh went off again. I shall now proceed to make the curly whoop whenever that laugh is mentioned. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, and I made him punch again, and Sonic vanished again, laughing. Knuckles was panicking even more, and even I felt like I was going crazy. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. It was almost like he had some kind of super speed power or something. Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knees and clutched his head sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. Sonic's daily "I'm not touching you" pranks were finally wearing down Knuckles' already fragile mind. And then in a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles, and the screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for at least 3 seconds. Another text message appeared. So many souls to play with. So little time. Would you agree? Damn straight. What the hell? What is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the game, but I was too scared to think that. Look, either you thought it or you did, kid. Don't waffle on me. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time, the second file box had Knuckles in the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to a reddish gray, his dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding too, and he had a look of sadness on his face. I began to think that those are the actual characters trapped inside those TV screens and the save files, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it, probably because it was a stupid theory. So I shut off the game and took a break, and never played it again. The end. I took a nap, wish I hadn't, because I then began to have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in pitch black darkness, though I was under the light given off by a lamp that hung high above my bed. I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us! Why did you give us to him? And run away before he gets you too!" The cries died out as I then heard Sonic laugh. Oh boy. His laugh. Here we go. It sounded a lot like the distorted Kefka laugh. You're a lot of fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend Kyle. Though he didn't last long. Hey, I forgot about Kyle. I suppose if he got shoved inside one of them monitors, that makes him TV's Kyle now, huh? Only I got that joke. I was scared and looking around for the source of the voice. Won't be long now until you join him and all my other friends, and then we'll all go to Vegas. I saw him running toward me, flickering in and out in several directions. "You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others." When he grabbed me and I saw his bleeding black and red-eyed grinning face, I woke up with a fright. After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. Because who the fuck needs sleep anyway? I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to figure out why this was happening. So I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. I still thought that this was wacky playing as Robotnik. Kid, this whole cockamamie story is wacky. But anyway, the level title appeared again, and this time it said ... which I found really freaky. Laugh if you want, but his mother was killed by an ellipsis. This time I was in some kind of hallway. It didn't really look like it was from any of the classic Sonic games, though it has the pixelated style. We could only pray it wasn't a hallway from Pac-Man. There's ghosts in there! The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were a dark grayish purple with animated candlelights and a few dark bloodstains here and there. And there was a dark red curtain hanging above on the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly. But whenever you play in the game, you can barely see it move. So how this kid noticed it, I don't know. The music was oddly pleasant. A piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song. But I knew better. This is the song that played in Hill Act 1, only it wasn't in reverse. Kid's got a great ear for music. Robotnik didn't look exactly nervous like Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face. He was just a bit paranoid. Damn right Eggman wasn't nervous. He's hard-boiled. Shoot me. He then did a little animation, which I just left him standing. He turns his head to the left and then to the right, at least twice, and then shrugs at me as if he has no idea where he was or what was going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation, you know, when you've beaten him at the end of a classic Sonic game and you chase him, as we continued going through the hallway. Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed onward. Yeah, look, Robotnik has always been afraid of stairs ever since the Humpty Dumpty incident. It's understandable. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the halls had gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we walked onto another hallway. This one was longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it. And then we headed down another flight of stairs down. This one was much longer. It took at least 1 full minute. God, so many amazing things you kids have to occupy yourselves with these days, and yet you're wasting this much time on an unfinished Sonic hack. Whatever. And then I heard that horrid Kefka laugh again. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red and the torches were a black flame now. You know, I'd ask how that works, but honestly, the normal logic in Sonic games is already pretty fucked up, so I'll let this one slide. When Robotnik landed onto the third hallway, I noticed now he looked really creeped out, though he tried to hide it. Right on, Eggman, don't let him see you cry. I couldn't blame him, I was scared too. Not me. I couldn't give less of a shit if I went to a whole cheese diet. Suddenly, Sonic popped right in front of Robotnik, the same way he did to Knuckles, and then red static. The red static lasted for about 15 seconds, and then it showed me a most unpleasant image. Let me guess, zombie Robotnik and a computer screen. The image showed a hyper-realistic, oh for fuck's sake, hyper-realistic image of Sonic standing in the darkness where you can only see his face while his head and torso faded into black. And when I say hyper-realistic, I mean like he looks so real you could actually see the lines in his blue fur, as if you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen. His face. Oh God, he had the most horrifying smile I'd ever seen. And that's saying something considering I'm British. I mean, considering that I saw the image at the start of the game. His eyes are wide and black and once again crying blood, which also looked hyper-realistic, well, naturally. And there were 2 small glowing red dots in those black eyes staring right at me, as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic had fangs. Cats have fangs too, by the way, kid. Very sharp fangs, much like the werehog's teeth, except more vicious looking, somewhat yellowish, and from the look of it, he had stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs, as if he ate some animal. Clearly, Sonic had been thinking Arby's earlier. As I stared at that gruesome image for a good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off it, I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face, it just took 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain for good. That's 40 seconds for those of you keeping count. 40 seconds he's staring at Chronic the Hedgehog over here. Then the screen flickered with red static again 3 times. And on the third time, hold on, let me go back. And on the third time, I heard the Kefka laugh. Except this time it sounded distorted. Demonic even. I'm a victim of circumstance. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There is no Kylie, only Zool. It went back to the image again, except this time there was the text again, although it was messed up. But it was pretty much one of the most horrifying things I looked at since I had this game. I am God. It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic when it hit me. I realized right there and then that all my years of practice in Mariology were the fruitless chase of a false religion. This Sonic was a monster. You don't say. A pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster, and all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and possibly Kyle, are just his little toys, and the game is the very gateway into his chaotic, nightmarish world, and the very hell his victims are trapped in. On the plus side, getting through customs was a breeze. Suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly, with his mouth wide open to an unnatural length, revealing nothing but a literally spiraling abyss of pure darkness before the red static came again, this time much louder and distorted, so loud that it hit my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. Then it stopped and showed nothing but a black screen. Tom had his first encounter with a screamer, and he would never be the same again. As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last text came up. Ready for round 2, Tom? The Kefka laugh, now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me, played again 3 times as I looked at that text in shock and confusion. Hey, Mo! Then I got booted back to the main menu, and this time, the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. There's Zombie Eggman. Robotnik's skin turned a dull gray. His mustache drooped and had blackened. His glasses broke and blood is coming from them, and he had a mere dead expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik and cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they're going through. They were forever trapped within the game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, and always will be. Until, I play a different Sonic game and they'll all be perfectly fine like they always are. Then the computer shut itself off. I couldn't turn it back on no matter what I did. Ever again. Which makes you wonder how I posted this story in the first place. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified by what had just happened. I'd written one of the shittiest ghost stories of all time. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his game in more ways than one. This portion of the story written by IGN, apparently. And then when he gets bored, he drags you into the game. Literally drags you to hell, where he can play with you always as his toy. And you don't want to know where he sticks the batteries. I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there. But at least I managed to turn it on for now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me like a whisper. Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom. I turned around to see where the voice came from, and what I saw made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me. Was this Sonic? Was this Sonic plushie? Smiling with bloodstains under its eyes. Oh, whoa, scary stuff, hey kids. You'll have to give Filthy Fred a moment here. I'm so unsettled that I may just have to take exactly 12.4 seconds to recuperate. Nah. I'm just shaking your chain. Anyway, you know the drill. If you got any crappy stories you want me to read, send a link my way. Until next time, be sure not to play too many video games. Those things will rot your mind.